Hello and welcome. Today we're in the Tier 10 Spanish heavy cruiser, the Castilla. Patience is very important as a cruiser, and sometimes even I am capable of it, which is why we're stopping behind this rock right here. We're going to wait for the enemy to get closer to us instead of YOLOing away and probably dying very soon. It is much better for a ship like a battleship to be the tip of the spear, because a battleship is much better at tanking all of the inevitable incoming damage. Meanwhile, I can provide a lot more firepower by staying safe. Now, if the enemy doesn't push, then of course we do have to move up ourselves because we simply don't have the range. However, it is pretty clear that the enemy is pushing, and that Yodo over there is even showing us quite a bit of side. So, we're going to take a shot. Now, this ship does have burst fire, but you don't want to use burst fire if you can help it, because your damage per minute is better without it. Here, however, I'm afraid that the ship is going to go behind the island, and I will not get the second shot. And I'm glad I did. We did 20k damage to her. That's half the ship gone, and that probably would have happened to me if I were less patient. Patience is a virtue. Right now, I don't have anything. Oh, there's a submarine. Maybe the submarine is on the surface, and if I just blindly fire, I might hit quite a few HE shells. But that only works if the submarine is on the surface. But sometimes they do that, at least I do that in a submarine, and I imagine others too. And I think it's quite useful, especially if I have nothing else to shoot at anyway. I'm being shot at by a Conde, I think. Oh, and Yamato. No, never mind, Yamato was in Georgia. I think the Shimakazu will disappear, so burst fire is the option that I go for, just because destroyers are slippery. See? She disappeared. But we landed 3 shells. That's a good 20 to 30% of the Shima's HP. We are quite happy over that. Oh, Yoda is back for a moment. Her smoke should be going out soon. Maybe we should start pushing up, because our Iowa is definitely pushing. I think the push is a little foolish though. I am more inclined to agree with the Georgia that's turning around and trying to sail away. We don't have the critical mass over here to push this flank through. But hopefully we can take out this Yoda. This is a pretty big obstacle in trying to push, because the torps can be very, very deadly to battleships. Well, in addition to obviously the destroyer torps as well. Okay, the Georgia finished the Yodo, excellent. Now if we can drive off the Conde, then I think we can push. Particularly the Conde, because she just has so much capability to deal damage. Grosse Koffest, as long as we stay out of her secondary range, I think we can manage her. But Conde is very, very scary. Ooh, somebody... Wow, that's a lot of shells on the Conde. Damn. Somebody did hit the Conde really hard, and she's actually turning closer, which means that she can't easily break contact from us. Hopefully we will be able to severely damage the ship, possibly even take her out. All we need is a few extra fires. I mean, her angle to the island, so she's trying to hide behind the island, keep the island between her and whatever ships that are shelling her. In this case it's the Annapolis, I guess. But she does have to open some side for me. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping I would get another shot, especially when she was showing side. With burst fire and AP, that could have been very nice, but unfortunately, the Conde simply disappeared. I guess we're gonna have to focus on the Grosse Koffest then. She is stuck on the map border. It'll take her quite some time to extricate herself from that. And she is on fire. With Annapolis and Castilla firing on her, I think she's going to remain on fire. She did show some signs, so the burst fire from AP was a good 10 to 11k damage. I think we have to be quite happy with that. And now we're back to spamming HE on her, because the fire ran out. If we can start some more fires, I think that will chase off the GK. Now, part of the question is, how healthy is our Georgia? Can she actually push in? I mean, I know there's a Shimakaze and a Gato ahead of us, but maybe it's possible. If we can push the Conde out from hiding, we can definitely take her out. The Annapolis being there, also being patient, has been very helpful to us. And I think now is a good time to start pushing forward. There might have only been 2 ships that have gone down on the other side, and 1 on our side, but honestly the game is far more different than it started out. And now we can make use of the 51,000 HP we have. Now, burst fire does have one other advantage, which is that because you fire all your shells at once, you don't stay constantly spotted because your bloom disappears after a while. Which, never mind, I guess isn't going to work because the Conde is too close. But we will definitely be able to take out the Conde. There's just very little chance she survives this. I should be able to simply outrun the torpedoes. This should be fairly simple. Yep, Conde looks very, very screwed. Burst fire, just to make sure that we finish her off. Ooh, our Gato actually took out the enemy Gato. This is very good, because now they only have a Grossa Kofest and a Shimakaze over here on the A cap. I think we can lock this cap very soon. If we chase the Grossa Kofest further away, or maybe even sink it, we're going to be in a very good spot. And then we can start heading over towards the B cap, and maybe support the C cap eventually if they need it. It's hard to tell based on what's going on the map, just because the enemies are basically on the map edge on the right side of the map, and that means that anything could be happening there. Like, it could just be that our guys are in complete just retreat. By the way, this is a CV match. I mean, both sides have a CV, but it has been absolutely irrelevant on our side. There's basically been no plain gameplay. That's another reason to be more patient. Okay. I wanted to say we managed to avoid a lot of damage by the Grossa Kofest by slowing down, but honestly we did take a massive hit anyway. 30k to go. We can definitely burn her down. I think it's also good if she focuses on me rather than the Annapolis. The Annapolis does bring more firepower into the match. And as long as she can fire freely, well, we're gonna sink the battleship that much faster. Besides, I have more faith in me being able to dodge than complete random. This is a random match after all. Or at least, maybe not dodge, but minimize the damage. Which is one of the most important things. The enemies are shooting at you, they're not shooting at somebody else. If you can make them not deal much damage to you, even better. Wow. I'm actually surprised how well that went, but that's a GK down. Which means that essentially the A cap is home free. There is a Shimakaze, but we really shouldn't try to chase her down. Now I'm going to do a very scary maneuver. I'm going to show broadside to this Yamato. Partly because I don't want to keep chasing the Shimakaze. Second reason, there are planes attacking me. Turning in a way where the planes find it difficult hit. It can be useful, as you just saw. And hopefully it'll put a mountain between me and the Yamato. Although I suspect that the Yamato can fire over this. She will probably focus on the Annapolis, but I am low HP enough that I don't wish to tangle head-on with a battleship, especially when a destroyer could be on my broadside. Besides, Yamato fired on me anyway, so wow. We're in a very good position. Okay, actually it was the Haruguma that finished off that Yamato. Nice. So now it's time to start heading towards the B-cap. The game kinda looks finished, right? If you look at the ships left, the positioning, the game looks completely over. But it really isn't. Because there's plenty of stuff that can go wrong here. That's a high HP Stalingrad. There's a Musashi that's flanking. The Shimakaze apparently just hit a torp on the Holland. And if the Shimakaze wins against the Holland, she could deal with the Gato. She could potentially deal with either me or the Annapolis on top of that. The game isn't definitely over yet. Although it is getting a little better. It seems the Shimakaze isn't utilizing her guns to actually deal with the Holland. Okay, never mind. We're good now, I think. I don't think we're going to be in a lot of trouble anymore. But that could have gone differently. Because if that Shima had gotten away with sinking the Holland, she could have potentially turned the tide. Now it wouldn't have been for sure, that's definitely the case. But she could have. And I mean, one of the biggest dangers whenever you fight other ships that are basically head-on to you, that there's an enemy ship on your flank. That is easily the most dangerous position to be in, because you simply cannot maneuver against both of them at the same time. At least not very effectively. But now I think, yeah, the match is over. I don't think they can turn this. Although, if you look at it, that Musashi has a lot of HP. I just think that that HP will never come into play. The game will end before that. The Stalingrad's gonna go down. Even if the Z-52 somehow finishes somebody. Also, our Haruguma is actually running away. Right? And that's very important because it's a destroyer. If, you know, we're winning on points. And if there's an enemy destroyer on loose, good luck finding her, especially if she's running away. Wait, no, never mind. She's not running away. She's smoked up to shell the start. Never mind. She's just greeting for damage. Okay. Well, I mean, it would still be difficult for the CV to deal with her. I just thought the Haruguma was being very prudent, pointed her nose away from the enemies, etc. But no, she was simply farming more damage. And here's the victory. The Musashi's HP actually did not come into play. Well, not much of it anyway. I mean, honestly, this game was a lot closer than it seemed. A few things breaking the other way could have led to another outcome. But as you saw, cruisers that are patient, especially early on, can have a pretty good impact later. Like the Annapolis was being patient, I was being patient, and we were rewarded for it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.